Hello and welcome to another episode here at West Coast Dogman Project. I'm your host, Michael Crisp, and I'm joined tonight with my special co-host, Todd Metz, and we're honored to have Crypto Normal Encounters one and only Bettina Moss. Bettina, welcome to the show.
Thank you for asking me to be a guest on your show, Shane. I appreciate the invitation.
The pleasure's ours. It's a true honor, and we couldn't thank you enough for coming in. I know you're a busy lady, and you got your own podcast you run, which is very successful, and you've got some of the best people that come on your show, from Tim Kumbo Baker to Nick Valente to you name it, Blondes and Booze. You've got
Scott Carpenter.
You got a good lineup.
Yes, Scott Carpenter's been on the show. Mary Fabian of Pennsylvania Bigfoot Project. It's been quite a few. I've had several members of the group who are also Dogman eyewitnesses and Bigfoot eyewitnesses, and there's several other people I want to have on the show as well, because I cover different things like Bigfoot, Dogman, paranormal, alien abductions, alien visitations, sleep paralysis, hauntings, and all that kind of stuff, because I feel like that, and that's why I named the group Crypto Normal, Cryptid Paranormal, Crypto Normal Encounters of Bettina Moss, because when it comes to cryptids, a lot of people don't realize that cryptids and almost kind of coincide, and there's a lot of things, there's a lot of similarities there and a lot of correlations, and so those things need to be brought to the table and addressed. And when it comes to me, I don't watch or listen to podcasts when it comes to Bigfoot, Dogman, or anything else, or paranormal. When I listen to it, I take it in as especially because I'm into Dogman stuff or cryptid stuff. You should be at a point to where it's not for entertainment purposes only. It should also be for the purposes of bringing together the common denominators of paranormal and cryptids, and some of the things as far as like your host or podcast of your own show. So, like when it comes down to it, you can tell over a period of time the different things that different people come on your show and say, you know what, well, this person and that person and that person, they all said that. And so you take those things and you make a note of that, and you say, okay, 3, 4, 5 different people have said this about Dogman or Bigfoot. They've said this about them. So let me make a note of that right now, because this is characteristics, because the powers that be, they're not going to tell you anything when it comes to these things. So you got to start making your own notes and creating your own inventory or list of things that coincide with this to come to your own conclusions.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, it's a really great way of looking at it, a really great way of taking it all into account and kind of spreading the wealth along the pathway. Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, because it's, to me, like I said before, like before I had my own Dogman sightings or encounters, I already believed that I believed in Bigfoot first. And the Dogman stuff came in later on, because you know how YouTube will show you suggested videos. And so when suggested videos popped up, one day Dogman came up, and I bust out laughing, because I was like, just like I do with anything else, I bust out laughing. I was like, you know what? They reaching right now. They reaching. Like, what the hell is that? And I clicked on it, and the more I listened, because the first show I ever heard on Dogman was like Big Point, I think back in around 2008, 2009, whenever I first started hearing Dogman Encounter shows. Of course, nobody you're hearing these shows and it's for entertainment purposes. You're never thinking that one day that this is going to happen to you. You're going to actually see this in real time for yourself. So I never thought that it was going to come to a point that I was going to see that. But I listened to it. But the first time I listened to one of the kind of shows talking about Dogman, and the more you listen and the more the eyewitnesses are tore up about their encounter, and they crying, and then you got legitimate or credible witnesses like that are seasoned hunters that go out on a regular basis, or judges, or what do you call it? Like what are the people who are out, like park rangers and DNR officials and stuff like that, judges and any form of law enforcement that are out there, when they come on and they're telling your encounters, they're credible witnesses. So when you got people like that, and then some of the people breaking down on shows, it's like you can tell as a human being, because at the end of the day, one of the things that stood out to me, I seen a post on Facebook one time that resonated with me so deep, and it said, "We are spiritual beings having a human experience," and that resonated with me. I'm like, oh wow! Like I thought about it, and I was like, you know what? If you really think about it, you are a spirit first, but we inhabit a flesh and blood body. And so when you look at that and you say, okay, well, spiritual beings have a flesh and blood body, you've got what is it? Spiritual beings have a human experience. Well, that meant to me in that moment, and I'm trying to bring all this together so y'all don't think I'm diverting.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
What meant to me in that moment was your spirit first. When you die and your spirit leaves your body, you're not just that's not like just some average thing or something to be blown off. Like you continue to exist. You are real beyond the flesh and blood. And if you think about it when it comes to, and I don't like to talk about certain stuff here, but I'm gonna say it and get over it and hurry up and rush through this. But because I'm real sensitive when it comes to spirits and stuff like that, so certain things I don't like to talk about on the show. There's certain things that have presented themselves here in my home, and I think sometimes when you get to talking about certain things, I don't want to say you conjure it up, but you give energy to it and it feeds into it, and sometimes certain stuff will show up in your home because of that. But what I do want to say is that when you realize that you are a spiritual being having a human experience, when you look at that, you realize when you die, your spirit leaves your body. And whether you're a Christian, Hebrew, Buddhist, most religions, a lot of religions have that whole belief of reincarnation. And if you believe in reincarnation or anything like that, then you might come back as something else. But at the end of the day, your spirit has left your body, but it continues to exist. When it comes to demonic possession, they are called sometimes disembodied spirits, as I'm sure you both are fully aware of. Disembodied spirits only means that that is a spirit, just like you and I are a spirit, but we inhabit a body. You understand?
I
So
100%.
Oh yeah.
those disembodied spirits don't have a body, which they need in order to do certain stuff. They can still do stuff with or without a body, but they can't do everything that they would need to do with a body like we have. So that is why, and I'm going to bring this up, we'll move on to Dogman in a minute, but I'm just trying to show y'all how deep this rabbit hole goes when it goes into it. Todd and Shane, when it comes down to, and I just told y'all a few minutes ago, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Your spirit leaves your body sometimes at night, and it's called astral projection.
Mm.
Sometimes you may not always remember it, and sometimes you might remember it the next day. Sometimes you wake up and be like, what the fuck just happened? You know it's not a regular dream. You know that you just went somewhere. You know that you just had a conversation with somebody. You know that I've seen this place before. Have y'all ever experienced that?
Oh yeah.
Almost like a
Or
deja vu
people,
event.
yeah. And it's
Yeah.
people in life that you actually will see, and you've never in the physical realm, in our physical realm, you've never laid eyes on this person before, but you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, I know you. I know
Mm.
you. I've seen you before. And you don't understand it because sometimes you've encountered these people while in the spiritual realm. People think that dreams and stuff like that are just dreams. It's not just dreams. You are actually, people don't realize that the dream realm or the sleep realm, you are actually in another dimension when your spirit leaves your body. Now, that's my personal opinion on that. People can debate that or feel different, but I know for a fact people come out of dreams, people come out of astral projection, and people come out of sleep paralysis. A lot of the times, Todd, they'll come out of those experiences sometimes with evidence from those experiences, whether you were dragged out of the bed and you find yourself on the floor when you wake up, or whether you find the covers all the way down at the bottom of your feet, or whether you find that you've got scratches or bite marks or bruises on your body, and you know that during that experience, what was happening to you. So a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to sleep paralysis, if you take sleep paralysis, you can't move, you can't scream, you can't get up, you can't do anything, but your mental, your psychological mind is fully aware of everything that's going on in the room around you. And sometimes, and I can't explain it in my own mind, because I think about stuff really, really deep when I think about stuff. So I realize that when it comes to sleep paralysis, I don't agree with the scientific community explanation for that hypnagogic and hypnopompic hallucinations. It's not an hallucination. You're having a spiritual experience. You go into the spiritual realm, and you are able, with your third eye or pineal gland in the middle of the forehead, able to see things with that third eye, regardless of whether you're asleep or not, because that is your mind's eye, your spirit eye. And that is why, even though your physical body might be asleep, your spirit is always awake. Your spirit is always aware of everything that's going on in the room around you. Your spirit is aware when there's another spirit in the room with you. Have you
that's a super.
Like
Huh?
Go ahead, Todd.
Yeah, that's a super interesting way of looking at sleep paralysis. You hear, and my daughter's a psychologist, so I've kind of heard the scientific part of it, but she also believes in that it's much more than the scientific. It goes way beyond that from a spirituality perspective, and what happens in the dream state and things like that. Bettina, let me ask you: have you ever had any experiences like that, happen to you as part of your, in the dream state?
Absolutely. Oh my God, mine is not. Mine are terrible. And I don't know if y'all have ever saw that documentary. And I'm gonna tell you mine, but mine is not. If y'all have ever saw the documentary, The Nightmare, look it up on Tubi. The Nightmare. On YouTube, The Nightmare. It's terrifying. Mine are beyond the point. The first time I ever had a sleep paralysis experience started back in like 2004. And it has continued up until this day. Like I still have bouts and episodes with that. But when you understand and realize what it is, and I'm gonna give y'all a couple of those before we go into the Dogman stuff in a few minutes. But I'm gonna give y'all a couple of those and let you know how I know for a fact that it's not hallucinations. And I'm gonna tell y'all some stuff. But when it comes down to sleep paralysis, the first experience that I ever had with sleep paralysis was in 2004, and my cousin had died. At that point, she died in 2002. I had renounced God, and I told God, I'm not going to pray to you anymore. You let my cousin die, and I thought she was going to make it past this, and so I had bitterness towards God at that point. So I'm going to say that gave an opening or doorway to these things or entities that come in. Some people call them archons, or different things that they call them, or but at the end of the day, this is real, and I'm going to break it down for y'all. So the first sleep paralysis experience I've ever had was also the first time that I ever, as far as I'm aware of, ever had an out-of-body experience, meaning that I could also see my body from the ceiling looking down on myself. I could see my body. My spirit could see my body laying on the couch. I could see like, if you dream of yourself, you're not going to dream of every single detail as it is right now in real time. You're not going to dream of a strand of hair going across your face as you're asleep. You're not going to dream of the covers disheveled around your legs. You're not going to dream of like every napkin that's on the floor. Like, you dropped a napkin on the floor you were eating before you went to sleep, and like, you're not going to dream of all that stuff. You're not going to see your dog laying on the couch. I've seen this in real time. But that night, before this first encounter, before this first sleep paralysis experiment, before that happened that night, I was sitting on the couch, up watching TV late, and sitting there, and all of a sudden, this loud scratching. Todd, you're older than Shane, so he might not remember this, and I'm 43. Shane, how old are you?
I'm 32.
Todd, do you remember back in the day in the old ranch style houses or houses back in the day when they had that, and I don't know what to call it, that cheap fake wood walls back in the day? I don't know what you call it,
Yeah,
paneling.
paneling. Yeah,
You
raised. Yeah,
remember that?
sure.
So
Yeah,
in the
just
70s and 80s.
yeah. It was a
So
lot of paneling on the walls in those days. Yeah. Yep. Some fake, some real.
and carpet all throughout the house.
No,
Yeah,
But
they call that
shag
ship.
too. Shag carpeting.
I think it's
well,
shiplap. Is that what you're talking about, you guys? Shiplap?
is it
Well,
Todd?
it's usually shiplap is outside, but yeah, vertical
Oh,
paneling
okay.
was used on the walls a lot in the 60s and 70s, and it wasn't, sometimes it was really nice, and sometimes it was, like made out of masonite or something. It wasn't very good looking, but yeah.
It was
Anyway,
garbage. It didn't look
yeah,
like the
some
wood, fake wood to
no,
me at all. But matter of fact, Google it when you get off this live, Shane, paneling. But that night I fell asleep on the couch, and as I fell asleep on the couch, I could hear scratching on the walls. It almost sounded like if you took long fingernails or claws and scratching on the walls. So before the sleep paralysis experience, this is the very first one, actually happened that night. Before the first experience happened, I actually heard scratching on that paneling. And I'm laying on the couch and I'm getting creeped out, and I'm like, okay, well, the more it continued, I got up off the couch after probably about 10 minutes, because at this point now I'm getting disturbed. Now I need to rationalize and make sense of this. I'm going over, and I know we don't have any cats or dogs in the house. There's like, and then in my mind, I'm like, well, is this one of those beetles that has like, is loud enough where you can maybe hear his legs, like it's trying to climb up the wall? And then my mind is like, well, is there, is the TV or the refrigerator buzzing? I got up and went over to the wall where the noise was happening. I got over there. There's nothing going on, and I'm disturbed and I feel awkward. I feel uncomfortable. I'm not at ease. Go and lay back down like on the couch, and I go to sleep. And that night, like, before I went to sleep, I think I had a strand of hair across my face. I had on sweatpants and a t-shirt, and one pants leg was up to the knee. And I'm bringing up these details just to say that every single detail was exactly the same as it was when my spirit is hovering up on the ceiling. So all these things, all these noises that I was hearing that night before I went to sleep were the exact same thing that was happening during the sleep paralysis. I go into sleep paralysis. I have a regular dream, because sometimes sleep paralysis episodes will start off as a dream or nightmare. And then you realize, okay, this is scary. Let me end this because I don't like where this is going right now. And so I decided, okay, I don't like this. But the same scratching that was going on the paneling on the wall started happening in the dream. And then as this goes on now, I realize this is terrifying. I'm laying on the couch. Mom and Daddy and I already went to bed. I'm terrified. So I want to end it, and I want to wake up from this dream. I realized at that moment I can't get up. I can't wake up from this dream. I can't get up at all. I have no control over my body. I realized also at this same time, while I'm hearing all this scratching that I was hearing before still going on, now I realize, and this is one of the things when it comes to sleep paralysis, they have what they call, in the scientific community, they call it felt presence. Regardless of what they call it, you feel a presence. You are a spirit first. So your spirit, whether your eyes are closed or whether you're dreaming or whatever, your spirit is always alert and awake, regardless of whether your physical body is asleep or not. So your spirit makes you aware as a human being that there's another spirit in the room. And your spirit will also make you aware at that same time to let you know whether it's a good spirit or not. Because in that moment, when you go into the sleep realm or the dream realm, that is a lot of the time more real than what we deal with in our physical reality, because you are aware of other spirits. You come into contact with other entities and other beings during that sleep state or during that dream state or during the astral projection. Whatever it is, you come into other spirits. So your spirit, even if your physical eyes are closed, because some people that I've heard on sleep paralysis encounters will talk about the fact that my eyes were open so I could see what was there, but my physical eyes have always been closed. But regardless of that, I could always still see every single thing in the room. And so what I rationalized with that is that that wasn't my physical being, my physical eyes that saw it, my spirit eyes saw it. If I was laying in the bed with my husband at the time, um, I could see him laying in the bed. while I'm having the sleep paralysis experience. I can see where my dog was. I can see everything in the room. So, but during this first encounter, I was about 22 years old. So at that point in time, I had never had it before. I didn't know what to make of it. I realized I can't wake up from this. This is not a regular dream. I can't wake up, but I still didn't know what to make of it. Then that same scratching that I was hearing on the wall, my mind is like, I feel something right now. I feel another spirit in the room. I feel that there's a sense of evil, not just because I was fearful. I'm a spirit. I could feel that there's another spirit here. I could feel that this is an evil spirit, a negative spirit, or negative energy, whatever you want to call it. I could feel that. I could feel the energy and the hatred and the anger that it had for me radiating off of it. I felt all of that in real time. I felt the fear that you would feel when it comes to sleep paralysis in this first moment. I felt the fear that you would feel if you know that somebody is like right there in your living room right now and they're getting ready to murder your ass. They're getting ready to kill you right now. And not just, I'm trying to bring it to the worst case scenario, like the worst terrifying fear that you could think of. Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers, all that is in your living room right now in real time, and you about to die. Like that type of hatred, but add 100 or 1,000 times worse than that. Add some demonic hatred to that. Add that to it. I felt that. But at the same time, when I realized I want to wake up, I don't like this right now. I want to wake up from this dream. Then all of a sudden, when the scratching on the wall in that sleep paralysis episode before I wanted to sleep that night is happening during this, while I'm fully aware of everything that's going on in the living room, and I'm fully aware of everything that's going on. I can see everything that's happening in the room. But this spirit that was in the room, it was invisible. But my parents had hardwood floors at that time. And so the coffee table is like right to the side of the couch, or like in front of the couch, however you want to call it. And at this moment, I'm terrified. My heart's beating out of control because I realize my mind is fully alert. Now, not only do you realize you're hearing that same scratching noise that you heard before you went to sleep, now, oh shit, this is happening again. And now you can't move. You can't scream. You can't get up. You can't do anything. And now it's gone further than scratching on the wall. Now you hear its footsteps on that hardwood running around the coffee table. And from the foot of the coffee table, because my feet are at the end of the couch. So I can hear it running from the foot of the coffee table, running around, getting ready. And I told myself, I'm screaming. And you know how, like, y'all seen Freddy Krueger before, right? Mm-hmm. Nightmare on Elm Street. That movie, and y'all probably don't know this, and I found this out by watching documentaries on it, but that documentary or that movie was based off of sleep paralysis. They always needed somebody to wake them up. Don't let me fall asleep, because when it comes to that, they always used to say, if you fall asleep in your dreams, then you're going to die in real life. And I don't agree with that, because I've died in my dreams multiple times. I've been murdered in my dreams. I've drowned in my dreams. So I know that that's not always the case. But what I do know is that in that moment, please, my mind is telling my body, get up, wake up, wake up. Because when it gets over here, it's going to choke you. For whatever reason, I just knew that. It's going to choke you. It's going to try to kill you. And so I kept telling myself, wake up. But I also realized in that moment that while all this was going on, that there was another spirit in the room. I realized that, and I don't know how to explain it other than to say that if you are, y'all just think about it like this. If your back is up against the ceiling and you're flat up against the ceiling and you're looking down at your body laying in the bed or on the couch, you understand? Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my body down there and I'm telling myself, my body, get up, wake up, please get up. And I'm telling myself this. And I can hear the footsteps all the whole time running around the coffee table, and exactly what I said was going to happen happened. And we got over there to my body, and when it got there, the entity, which was invisible, and I have seen them during at least 4 or 5 different encounters. And I hate talking about certain stuff because I've had it about 3 times here. And the last was most terrifying, that had me to the point to where I would refuse to talk about it in here. And that was the first time I would say that it actually spoke to me, and that I actually saw what it looked like. And they're different. They're not always the same. But so it choked me. Now, during this experience, that first sleep paralysis experience, when the thing came around the coffee table and started choking me, I had never experienced nothing like that before. I'm like, what the hell? Like, what is going on right now? I didn't know what to make of it. Anytime you have a nightmare, a bad dream, and you don't like how it's going, you will wake yourself up. If you wake up at night and you got to pee, you can wake up. I got to go use the bathroom. You're in a deep sleep, but you got to use the bathroom. You can get up. Sleep paralysis, you're not getting up at all. I don't care what's going on, you're not getting up. You can still think your thoughts. You can pray in your head. You can scream in your head. You can do all that. You can see everything that's going on in the room, but you cannot move. You cannot get up. You can't do nothing. Now, they will respond to you when you're praying in your head and when you're talking to them in your head because you are a spirit. And when you're talking in your head, that is your soul or your spirit speaking to that spirit. So, regardless of the fact that your physical body cannot speak to it, they can still hear you and they will respond either way. So, what let me know that that first experience was not, I didn't know nothing about the hallucinations, hypnagogic or hypnopomp. I didn't know anything about that at that time. But what let me know that very day that this is not a normal or ordinary experience was the fact that while my spirit is up there hovering on the ceiling, looking at my body laying on the couch down below. At that point in time, I'm 22 years old. My father was still working at Delphi, Saginaw, General Motors, whatever you want to call it. He was still working there, and he would get up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to work. He worked first shift, and while my spirit is hovering up there on the ceiling, and I'm going through sleep paralysis, my and Todd, you probably remember this too. I don't know why people did this back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but you remember those old saloon style doors that would kind of open back and forth?
Sure.
They had that separated the kitchen from the living room, and those doors came open, and my daddy walked in there, and I remember what he had on. He had on a red T-shirt. My spirit's on the ceiling. I saw him from the ceiling. He came in there. He said, "Tina, time to get up. You got to go to work." So I'm assuming this sleep paralysis episode was probably around 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning because I had to be at work at 7 or 8. Time to get up. You got to go to work. He didn't stay around to wait and see if I was going to wake up or not. Like, he just came in there, said that, and then turned around and walked back out the room. All the while, my spirit's still up in there on the ceiling. And after he walked out, that spirit finally released the grip of my throat. And it took probably a minute and a half to 2 minutes before my spirit actually went back into my body. And I sat up on the side of the couch like, what the hell just happened? I knew it wasn't, I knew that wasn't normal. That had never happened to me before. I sat there thinking about it. I was disturbed. I got up after a few minutes. You know what? To make my mind at ease, let me go back there right now to my parents' bedroom. If I get back there and Daddy got on a blue shirt, if he got on something else completely different, if I ask him, Daddy, did you just come in there and tell me to wake up because I got to go to work? If he ain't got on that red shirt right now, okay, that was a dream. I got up after about 5 minutes of sitting there on the couch and went back there and I opened their bedroom door. He's still getting ready for work and whatever he's doing. Get in there, Daddy got on that same red T-shirt. I said, "Did you just come in there a few minutes ago and tell me to get up? I gotta go to work." "Yeah, because you late." That let me know right then. No, this was no regular experience. So sleep paralysis is real. People do
Yeah.
wake out of sleep paralysis experiences with scratches on their body, with
Sure.
bruises on their body. People have been dragged out of bed, and there have also been multiple cases when your husband, wife, significant other, boyfriend, girlfriend, sister, brother, whatever, somebody else is sleeping in the room with you at that same time while you're having a sleep paralysis experience and have woken up during that time, whether they got up to pee or whatever. They woke up during that time while you having it and looked over at you laying in the bed and saw what was on your chest. Because they like to sometimes sit on your chest. And sometimes they will sit on your chest to the point where you can actually feel your body sinking down into the mattress. You can hear the mattress creaking. There's times when I
Wow.
swear to God, Shane, there's times you can hear the mattress creak. You can feel your body sinking down into the mattress. Freddy Krueger, the first one. You remember? I can't remember Rob. You remember he sank down into that mattress? Yes, that shit is real. There's times when I've woken up out of sleep paralysis, and I woke up in real time. If you think about like not a real hard jump, but if you just kind of lightly from a standing position kind of like fall on your butt on a trampoline. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna bounce up and down a few times. So I've woken up a few times
Yeah.
bouncing on the bed like something had just dropped me down onto the bed. So when it comes to that, there's different things that people don't realize that when you go to the sleep realm, you do astral project, you do go into another other realms, you do interact with other spirits during these things. Um, and there's so many I could do a show fully about.
Well, I hope, hey Bettina, I hope you don't ever have to interact with a dogman or some other type of cryptid in some of these things, because that would be pretty doggone terrifying. That's for sure.
I already have.
Hey, oh well, well, first of all, what you just talked to us about was, wow, that's pretty crazy stuff. Well, let's try to get to the Dogman stuff a little bit as we start to talk with you a little bit about your experiences with that, where they were, how old were you, what was the first time that you experienced one of these things, and talk a little bit about that and tell the audience what happened.
Hey, real quick, you guys, before we jump in, is it cool if I
sure.
do a shout out to everyone that jumped in?
Oh, absolutely.
On the comments? Okay.
Yeah, do it.
I actually learned this from Bettina watching her shows, giving shout out to everyone in the comments. So thanks, B, for teaching me. I'm still kind of a new podcaster, so got to show love to the people that show up. So
they love that. Yes.
All right. First one's Lorna. Let's see if it pops up. My computer super.
Yeah, we see it.
Lorna said, hi, Bettina.
Hey, Lorna.
All right, cool. My wife, she popped on. She said,
hey, Lisa.
Joe Mazzell. Howdy, Joe. Thanks for jumping on.
I'm just sharing this while you're talking to people. I'm just sharing it in other chats.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Eddie Rodriguez, thanks for jumping in, brother. We really appreciate it. Joe Mazzell said, B. Moss is so knowledgeable, such a smart lady. I agree 100%. Thanks,
for
Joe.
sure. Yeah.
Barb Harkin, she jumped on. She said, hi, Shane, Todd, and Bettina. She's awesome.
Hey, Barb.
Hey, Barb.
Her. She's one of my mods. I love her.
And it looks like Matt jumped on. Lord Imp, he said it's Matt. So hey, looking good, B. Happy to be here.
Matt. Yes, I told him about
Brandon.
it minutes ago. He's my last guest. Hey, Brandon.
Oh,
okay. My admin. I love y'all.
Yeah, I know. Brandon's an awesome guy. He's knowledgeable.
I love my folks.
One Spirit Art, hello. Thanks for jumping on.
Hello.
Looks like Juliana. She's from Humboldt, Northern California. Got a fellow Californian in the chat. Thanks for jumping on, Juliana. And it looks like Mama Brew said hi. She's in the comments.
Hey, Mama Brew.
Looks like Joe. Yeah, so I think that's Jeff. He's our California representative for the North American Dogman Project. He's kind of like a mentor to me. Good friend of mine. How you doing, Jeff? Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Jeff. I'm sharing this in several groups right now while you're talking.
All right, yeah, that's everyone so far. So, Bettina, whenever you feel comfortable and you want, like Todd said, if you want to jump into your first Dogman encounter and how it happened, and if you want to just go on the details and go from there, the platform's yours.
Well, let me make sure this is off. One thing I wanted to bring up, because Todd had just asked me, and I will go straight into it, like when he asked me about the cryptid stuff, and I'll bring that back up maybe later on so I can get into that counter. But yeah, a lot of people who have had, and I myself included, when you've had Dogman encounters, sometimes I don't know if you call it they imprint on you or what it is, but sometimes those of us who had encounters or sightings will also have them to show up in dreams or sleep paralysis, nightmares, and sometimes in what you would call like the ethereal form, like a spirit form, and they will show up in your bedroom. So there are things like that that do happen. that's to answer your question. Yes, I've had at least 3 experiences with having them to actually show up in that way. Yeah.
Do you think that those happen because the Dogman experience that you had in real time was that unbelievable or terrifying to be able to transcend into your dream state? I mean, that's what I would. I mean, if something like that happened to me, I would probably be dreaming about it for way too long and scare the crap out of me.
Well, my first dogman, none of my dogman sightings were my first one, if I had to call it and say terrifying. I will explain it like this. When I say terrifying, I don't mean that it gave off a evil or negative energy, as far as I felt like that it was going to kill me or that it was going to do something to me. I was terrified for the simple fact that, um, first of all, you're looking at a werewolf right now. You're looking at something right now in front of you that's 8.5, 9 feet tall. Even though you've heard these encounters, you didn't ever think that you were going to actually see this for yourself in real time, and not behind trees, like full out in the open. Like, so when I say terrifying, I saw like something that what shouldn't exist, or I actually knew for myself, regardless of listening to any shows that I ever listened to. Right now, this is happening in real time, and you're a part of it, and there's nobody else outside but you and this thing right now. So I'm gonna go into that. 2013, and I can't remember what year that Big came out with Dogman Encounters Radio, but I do know that I knew about Dogman because I had been listening to several episodes, never thinking that this is gonna be your reality one day, that you're gonna actually encounter one yourself. Never was the thought in the back of my mind. So in 2013, this hunting season, and my ex-husband at the time, he liked to go hunting, and sometimes he'd be gone for 2, 3, 4 days. And so during those weekends when he'd be gone, I would choose, instead of staying at the house by myself all weekend, this is the perfect time to go socialize and visit with my family, my parents all weekend. So I would go over their house, spend the week there, and I would take my little Zoe with me because she was still living at that time. And so we'd go over there, and it was not unlike the other weekend. And I always bring up several different facts of this particular encounter on this first night. I know it was November 2013. I know it was 2013. I know it was November 2013 because I remember thinking in my mind when I got to their house that day, and parked at that curb. I remember thinking, I can't wait until next week when Thanksgiving gets here, because I'm thinking about all the food I want to eat. So I know I can't tell you an exact date, but I do know that on weekends I would go on there. So I can tell you that it was either a Friday or Saturday, November 2013, the week before Thanksgiving. Whichever, so you can kind of narrow it down. If we had to Google it, I can look it up. But it was either Friday or Saturday, 2013, November. That night, I pulled up to the curb, like the way my parents' driveway was set up. Their driveway was at an incline, and so since their driveway is at an incline, they had 3 vehicles. So like they got the rodeo on one end, and then they got the Tahoe on one end, and they got like Daddy's pickup truck on the far side. That's also an extended driveway. So whenever I would go over there to visit them on weekends, there's no place for me to park up in either one of those spots. So I would always park down below on the sidewalk. Like there's a tree that's at the end of their yard, and I would park on the sidewalk next to that tree all the time when I would come there, unless, for whatever reason, if it's raining really bad, because sometimes my sunroof would leak, and if my sunroof was leaking, my father would let me park under the carport, and he would just park on the outside of it. So, but this is one of those weekends. I pull under that tree and park. And thank God I didn't do what I normally do, which was to get out right away. Whenever I go, even if I'm, visiting with them for 2 days, I would always pack, and everything I do, I always pack for 3, 4, 5 days, because I always think about, what if somebody invites you to this or that? You got every option for every situation. You got like several different outfits and all that kind of stuff. So it's ridiculous when it comes to me, but that's what was going on. But thank God I didn't get out of the car right away that night, and I didn't cut the headlights off right away that night. I pull up, and I put the car in park, and I didn't tell y'all that my parents, the end of the neighborhood that they live on is a cul-de-sac. So that's the dead end of the neighborhood. So, but it's a cul-de-sac, and directly behind their house, and all the other people's houses out there too. But directly behind their house, there's the wood line, and there's a trail that leads directly further back into those woods where they live at. So that trail, my headlights. So where I'm parked at, the headlights are shining directly ahead into that trail. There's also a huge tree. I always called it a bush because it's shaped like a bush because it's shaped rounded. I don't know if you call it a fir tree or pine tree, but it's just kind of rounded to where it's almost like an umbrella at the bottom. I always called it a bush, but it may have been a tree because it was really tall. But I didn't cut the headlights off. I didn't cut the car off. That night I sat there, and for whatever reason, maybe because I've been listening to Dogman shows, in my subconscious mind, there's still that fear that, okay, it's dark back there. Um, your parents are inside the house. Everything that you can gather from inside the car, off the passenger floor and off the passenger seat, gather that now. So when you get out of the car, all you got to do is go around to the backside, passenger side, get your suitcase out of the car, and roll that up the hill. Thank God I did that for whatever reason. I just think that it's the angels or whatever it was. But after I gathered everything I needed off the passenger seat and off the floor, I looked up and I looked straight ahead because I'm already parked straight ahead. So automatically, when you look up, you're looking straight ahead. And I'm looking and I'm like, I know I think it is. Because your rational mind is like, no. Mm-mm. So I put the high beams on. When I put the high beams on, I was like, shit. You are looking at a dog man right now. And it's tall, it's big as hell. It's 8, and I will tell you, I don't know, I might be completely wrong, but I know my tallest cousin is about 6'5". This thing was way taller than him. This was about, if I had to just guess, I'm gonna say 8.5 to 9 feet tall.
Wow.
Jet black. When I say jet black, blacker than black, and I'm gonna ask Todd real quick, because Todd, do you remember back in the day before we had like old neighborhoods back in the day? Do you remember we had old wooden telephone poles back in the day? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I think we still have them. They haven't taken them all out yet. So yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of lighting on that end of the neighborhood. They still had them old telephone. That it's gone now because I've been back over there since then. But they had them old telephones back in the day. Back then, they didn't have all the lighting in the neighborhoods like they did back then. So at nighttime, once the lights went out, it was just out. If nobody had their porch light on, it was just dark outside. But I'm looking. I put the high beams on. I'm looking at a jet black dog man. It was darker than the darkness. And when I looked up, it was standing on 2 feet. It was never on all fours. It was standing on 2 feet. It had its back to me. Like it was standing
Wow.
completely still, but it had its back to me. So it's facing the trail to go straight ahead. So what I think happened in that moment, it was what I rationalized for myself, was that this thing, even though I was parked and the headlights were on the whole time, my rationalizations after thinking about this years later was that this dog man decided, and is smart enough to know, if I just stand here long enough and don't move at all, nobody will know that I'm here. That this person, whoever this is, they won't know, and they'll turn their headlights off in a minute. So I'm just going to stand completely still when I put the high beams on it. And I'm going to go into great detail explaining it to y'all what it looked like in a few minutes. But when I put the high beams on it, what I feel like that happened in that moment is that now I've spotlighted it. I put it out there in the open. So now once I put the high beams on it, the dog man that had his back to me no longer had his back to me. Now it decides to turn around. Headlights are still on in the Cadillac. A regular dog, coyote, or any other animal is going to look at the car. It's not going to, I'm not going to say this is every dog, because some dogs might, especially if it's daytime and it's a dog that's running up next to your car, it will know to like look at you if it's a passenger window or whatever. But this thing turned around and it looked directly through the windshield, directly into the driver's seat, and made eye contact with me for about 8 to 10 seconds. In this moment, when it turned to look at me, it turned to face me, And I'm looking at it. Mom and Daddy are in the house. No other neighbors are outside on the porch. Nobody's out there smoking. Nobody's doing anything. I'm the only one in my car outside right now. And there's a dog man. People wanted to ask me how far away were you from it. I'm not good at gauging distance, but after that encounter, maybe a year, several years later, I can tell you how many steps it took me to get to where it was standing. If that may
Wow.
tell y'all anything, then you can kind of gauge that for yourself. But from where I was parked at next to that curb that night, if I got out of the car that night and took about anywhere between 50 to 70 steps, I would have been face to face with that dog.
Wow.
So if that gives
Wow.
you any idea of how
Yep.
many feet or how many yards away it was, then that's how close. Now, when that dog man turned to face me and looked at me in the eyes, in the driver's seat, it made eye contact with me for anywhere between 8 to 10 seconds. While it's looking at me and I'm looking at it, I remember thinking in my head, please God. And I always say this because I didn't write it down at the time. Because it just, I mean, in that moment, you're just not thinking about it. I remember thinking to myself, please God, don't let the thing walk over here because this will be one of those times when my automatic car doors don't lock. When I said that, whether I said it in my head because I don't remember or whether I said it out loud, I'm in my car. That thing, and when it comes to mind speak, and I'm not an advocate for that or against that. But if mind speak happened, then that is the one and only time that I can say that mind speak happened for me in that moment. I spoke and I said, please don't let that thing walk over here. But this will be one of those times where my automatic car doors don't lock. Please. And the thing said, oh, it's just you. No big deal. And it casually turned its back on me again and continued to walk down that trail, down that path into the woods, which was, I think, was an original path already in the first place. It's just that I stopped and I parked next to that curb. So that night, in that moment, I made it have to take a stop and pause. That's on a cul-de-sac. Most people who pull to this neighborhood, when they pull in, they turn and they make a left to go down to the other houses. So I don't think it was used to anybody stopping and parking right there and having the headlights on that long on it. It wasn't expecting anybody else to come out. I caught it by accident. It didn't have the amber eyes that everybody talks about. To this day, I can say that I've never saw one that had amber eyes. But most of the time after that encounter, I never was outside alone again, and I never would go out. If I went out to smoke a cigarette at night, I would stay right there. I would close my parents' door so it wouldn't smell like smoke in the house. But I would stand between the storm door and the screen door, like in that crack. I'm not going to take any chances that some shit can come from the left or the right because it's dark as hell. I'm not going to take it. If something come up, I will be able to throw this cigarette on the ground real quick and run back in the house. I wouldn't even step out into the carport after that night. If I wanted to go visit them after that night, I would call my daddy. Daddy, I'm outside. Open the door and stand at the door until I get out of the car. Matter of fact, come help me get this stuff out of the car because I'm not gonna walk up there. That's how serious it was for me after that. Um,
Wow.
I'll tell you how this dog man looked. 8.5, 9 feet tall, jet black. Y'all heard of people talking about German Shepherd head. This didn't have a German Shepherd head. This had the head more like a Rottweiler or a Pit Bull or any breed of dog that has a broad head,
Hey,
short
B, real
snout.
quick, your audio's echoing. Joe Mazzell said you're echoing. I can hear it on my end. Todd, can you hear it?
No, actually, I can't hear it on my end. She sounds okay on this side.
And
Okay.
it sound and Shane, on your end, it sounds like you're I tell you what, Todd, do me a favor. I'll just
Mhm.
test this real quick. Todd, mute your mic for a second. Mute your mic. Let's just see something. Shane,
Yeah. Can you hear me?
okay, it's still doing
Is
it
it my
on
mic?
your end. Does it sound like I'm still doing?
Can you guys?
I can hear you, Shane. Hopefully we didn't lose Bettina on that. Hopefully she'll be able to get her signal back and get back on.
Hello? Okay. I think I'm going to mute my mic. When Bettina, I'm still listening though. Oh, okay. It has to be coming from my end. I can hear the echoing now.
Yeah, how about me? How do I sound on this side? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're still muted, Shane. You're still muted. Yeah, you're back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if we lost her, or she's just logging back on to try to maybe reset the system there, but.
Okay.
Well, it sounded like a pretty terrifying experience to me, but you know, that she had, that's pretty crazy stuff.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, I think it's my mic. She just said she's trying to rejoin. I'm going to switch out my headset really quick. So.
Yeah, actually, you sounded better than you have at the beginning of the show to me here, Shane, on my end. So it sounds good to me.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, I agree with Shan Bay says it's my mic, so swap that out real quick.
Okay. I'll entertain the folks while they're gone, but yeah, it's crazy. Some crazy stuff there that she shared with us. I'm pretty stunned with hearing that Dogman story, being that big, that tall, that close. But I'm also interested in the shape of the face. She said it was more like a Rottweiler or a pit bull. So that's an interesting piece of information that that I've not heard before. And also, yeah, you do hear a lot about the glowing eyes, either yellow or green or sometimes red. You know, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I've been listening to some people talk about bioluminescence, where the eyes are glowing without eye shine. So she said she had her vehicle shining on that trail where the Dogman was. So I'm curious to know from B if there was eye shine or they were glowing or what color they actually were. So those are things that I'm interested in hearing about, because this whole bioluminescence thing is kind of interesting with these things. So it's pretty cool to think about.
Hey, what's up, Todd? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you fine. Sound good. No worries.
Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I was just talking to everybody a little bit about eye shine versus glowing eyes. You know, we were talking a little bit about bioluminescence, where the eyes are glowing and they're not being the tapetum lucidum isn't reflecting back on from headlights or a flashlight or something like that. So I was going to ask Bettina a little bit about that, what she saw there, because she said the eyes weren't yellow. We hear so many people talk about that. So
yeah, she said she got knocked off, so hopefully she'll jump back in and describe the rest. I think it's still, I can hear the echoing on my side.
Maybe it's me. How do I sound on this side? Is it am I echoing or anything like that?
Let me see something. I'm going to try to mute you real quick just to see. Okay. I don't hear it on my end now. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's, I don't know if it's your mic. Maybe it's making the echo. But I'll put mine on. I just got to do a shout out real quick to everyone that's jumped in. Casual Conversations with G&A. They said hi. Thank you, ladies, for jumping on. Oh man, Bettina said StreamYard locked her out. She's being shadow banned. Ooh, let's hope not.
I don't even know what that means.
Means Big Brother's watching, listening in. It's happened to be a couple times. I've been on one of her lives, and it knocked me off 3 times. And she had about 100 people listening. And I swear I was on there and I was listening and I got kicked off. So I joined back on. And 3 different times it kicked me off. And I think other people that was listening to one of Bettina's lives had been kicked off. I think it was multiple people. So
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Shay, that's pretty crazy stuff. I don't even understand what's the story is with that. But from a technical standpoint, is this any better? I just disconnected the other mic, running something else now.
I can hear you crystal clear now.
Okay.
I don't hear any echoing, and I don't know if the chat can hear any echoing on my side. Bettina said give her a second. She's trying to get back on. If I need to resend you the link, I can, Bettina. Just let me know. Oh, Barb even said she's sharing too many truths. I agree, Barb. I really do. Bettina is a wealth of knowledge, and we all know that, she's got a successful podcast, and, I think Big Brother listens in on her quite a bit. So
somebody's not liking it for some reason. Just doesn't make any sense to me, but
okay. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, Shan. I want to say Shan Bay. The echo is gone. Looks like we've got it figured out now. So I think it was your mic, Todd, that was causing the echo.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Oh, unfortunate. I'm sorry, man. I think that's because after you switched it out, I don't hear the echoing on my side, and then Shan had said it looks like we fixed it. So
yeah, good.
But yeah, real quick, thanks for everyone that joined in on, here. We're still trying to get Bettina back on. We're not done yet. But Todd, any new news on Dogman? I mean, out of Washington, because I know you're the Washington State rep, so have you gotten any reports, or has it been pretty crickets over in your neck of the woods?
No, it's been pretty quiet up here so far. Like I said, I haven't been here that long, and I am fairly new, obviously, to Region 1, so I haven't got any new reports yet, but hopefully some people will start to come forward, like we say with all of our Facebook pages, hey, contact one of us or whatever, and share your experiences, and if you want to come on the show, we'd be more than happy to have you, right? For sure. But it's been quiet up here.
Like you said, you don't even have to have an encounter just to come on. I mean, if you just want to talk Dogman. I mean, just like Carlito a couple weeks ago. Carlito had a Dogman encounter, but he's he's the Region 4 directors, and that's what we're trying to do, is just trying to build awareness. I mean, I know I saw Miriam post a few times in the Dogman Washington chapter, and it looks like there is reports coming out of it, but I don't know if those are older accounts, or I know they're not from the NABT website. I know she found them on YouTube.
Yeah, I'll have to give her a jingle and see what she's got there, because I haven't heard any new reports, but there have been some older stuff, I think, that pops in once in a while, and you kind of revisit it, and so maybe that's what's happening. I'm not 100% sure, but we need to try to get people feeling more comfortable with talking about this. I think that's what you and I are trying to do. We're trying to make people feel that, hey, we're not going to ridicule you. We're not going to make fun of you. We want to hear what's going on, and we want to ask pertinent questions. And we've had some guests on that have had some encounters, not from the Pac Northwest or California, but from Arizona. And we're going to have a person on next week with some reports from Arizona and West Virginia. So hey, we want to try to bring out as many reports as possible, and from as many areas as possible as well. So not just not just the West Coast.
Oh, looks like Bettina's back. Here, let's see.
Hey,
what's up, B?
All right.
Can y'all hear me?
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yep.
Hold on. I'm trying to get the audio right.
Real quick before back to the kind of public comment.
Can y'all hear me?
We can. Yeah, you're a little high on the audio, B. A little. Yeah, we can hear you, but it's just a little bit high on the audio. If you pull it back a little bit, it'll be perfect.
Okay.
It looks like we're gonna have to reschedule with Josh.
Can y'all hear me now?
Because there was a storm in his. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I had to go live from my phone. They knocked me off the internet. They did the same thing when I had Scott Carpenter on the show, and certain guests or whatever that I've had on the show, or certain topics that I've discussed, and I've noticed that this has been a common thing that's been happening on my shows lately, or when I've talked about certain stuff. This happens. Scott Carpenter was on the show. I got knocked out of my show for 20 minutes and said I didn't have any internet, and I paid the Wi-Fi. That was not, and it showed on my end that I had Wi-Fi access. They don't want you talking about certain things. They don't want you putting certain stuff out there. I didn't even get into really deep stuff with y'all yet. There's a lot of deep things, and maybe that's not wanted, but I know that even with my Facebook group, like I've been flagged a couple of times by Facebook at this point for false information, and I got put in Facebook jail a few weeks ago because they said that I was not meeting their community standards for spam, and I was sharing my own live videos in groups, and that was spam. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that they don't want you to know. And regardless of whether my channel gets shut down or whatever, at the end of the day, I will create another channel. Whatever happens behind this is that at the end of the day, there's certain things they don't want you to talk about. They don't want you putting puzzle pieces together. They don't want you talking about different things. I'm going to chop it up real quick and just say a few things. I know that Vic has a dogman chart where he says there's 7 different type of dogmen. And this is just my personal belief, just from what I've seen, and I could be completely wrong about it. I feel like the same way that there's several different breeds or different looks or types of dogs. I think there's several different breeds, and for lack of a better word, or types of dogmen and Bigfoot too, just as it is regular animals. I've seen some that look like a wolf, gray, dark gray fur with a light gray snout, wolf or husky type dog man. I've seen the ones that have more of a German Shepherd, Doberman or Anubis type look, and I've also seen the ones that look that have the type of look that they look like a Rottweiler or Pit Bull, have the more broad head crop style ears with the short snout. I've seen those too, and that's the type that I saw during that first encounter that night. And I apologize for getting cut off. This happens. This is the probably 4th or 5th time this has happened during a show, and I don't know if it's because during certain shows, and I don't know how it is because I know a lot of guests share different stuff, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my internet or what it is, but I'm doing this from my phone now because when it comes down to it, some of this information just needs to get out there. The dogman during that night did not have amber eyes. It had the, I guess what you call royal blue or turquoise blue type eyes, like you see when you go to a tropical island, that beautiful turquoise blue of that ocean. But if you
Bettina,
take that,
yeah, Bettina, yeah, let me jump in there just on the eyes. When you were trying to get back on, I was making. Are you still there?
yes.
Yeah, I was just making some comments to everybody while you were trying to get back on, and I was talking about the eyes that you did see. Were they glowing, or were they reflecting headlight shine? So eye shine versus glowing eyes. What do you remember there?
That the eyes were glowing from within,
Mm-hmm.
luminescent.
Okay.
And the reason
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why I can say that for a fact. The reason I can say that for a fact is that if any of y'all out there that's in the chat right now, or if you're not in the chat, anybody who knows anything about Cadillac 2008 through 2013 Cadillac CTS, the headlights are garbage. Garbage. I mean, to the point where it's a nice looking car, but at the end of the day, like the headlights are BS. Like it's literally so dim. You've got to, on a regular basis, just to drive, have on your high beams to actually have actual light. Um, so when it comes to that, the lights did not reach the headlights did not reach his eyes.
Yeah,
This thing's
gotcha.
8.5, 9 feet tall. And if you can think about a 2008 to 2013 Cadillac CTS right now, the headlights are kind of down low and they're flared out, so you're not getting that. This thing's head is way above that. So
Hmm.
no, it had nothing to do with that. Luminescent turquoise type blue of that blue tropical island ocean color that you would see, but like glowing from within. So that's what
Wow.
it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Did
So
y'all
yeah,
have
go
any?
on. Yeah. Yeah, go
So
on with the description.
okay, so during that, so when the thing said, "Oh, it's just you, no big deal," the next thing that happened after that, it casually turned its back and went on. Stop. It went on to walk further back down that trail, which I think was his original path that it was already going before I pulled up on that curb and parked there that night. So I think what happened was is that I actually caught it off guard. It wasn't expecting me to actually pull up next to that curve that night and park there. Anybody pulling into the neighborhood will be parking, or not parking, but they would be pulling further down through to the other houses in the neighborhood. They wouldn't be parking right there. I think, and I'm going to say this. Now, the reason I say that is because I'm going to say I think it was last year I had Tim Kumbo Baker. Tim Kumbo Baker. Are you familiar with him, Todd?
I'm not actually. No.
Kumbo Baker's a big deal in the cryptid community, especially the Bigfoot community. He's a NASA retired NASA scientist or whatever, and he's also a Bigfoot researcher and
Hmm.
eyewitness, dogman, eyewitness, all that kind of stuff. So he lives literally like 45 minutes to maybe an hour away from where my parents lived on the property where all of my sightings and encounters happen. Kumbo, I called him. I reached out to him through Mary Fabian. I reached out to him, and when I reached out to Kumbo, he came out to the property. And when we were going back into those woods, Kumbo actually stopped in front of that actual tree bush that I had that dogman sighting, and like right there, like it was standing in front of it that night. I told Kumba about a dogman sighting, but I never, as we were walking back there, getting ready to go down that trail, I didn't say, "Hey, Kumbo, this is the tree that dogman was standing in front of that night when I had that encounter." But it was interesting to me that as we were getting ready to walk back there, Kumbo said, "Oh, wow, it's a sentinel tree." I was like, "A what?" He said, "It's a sentinel tree." I said, "What is that?" He said, "This is a tree that they sit in and watch and like basically scout out the neighborhood and watch people's comings and goings." Like I said, "How do you know that?" And so at that point, Kumbo parted the leaves of that tree and showed me, like, "Do you see that?" He opened it up, and when he opened it up, there was no bark whatsoever. There was no bark, no leaves, nothing like that on the branches that was inside of that, like as you part it open. Nothing at all. He said this is where something has sat there long enough that it's bored away something big. And when he showed me that, I was like, "Oh wow," like because it was no the bark was completely stripped inside of the tree. That tree that I'm telling you about, like I said, at the end of the day, I call it a tree and I also call it a bush. Um, because like I said, it's shaped like an umbrella at the bottom. It's large enough that if you're a kid and you're playing hide and go seek, about 20, 30 kids can fit under that. It's like an umbrella.
Oh wow.
So so
Mm.
it's that big underneath that if any dog, regular dog or any other regular animal were to just take nesting under there or shelter or whatever, that is the perfect spot. Even as a human being, if I'm homeless, I'm gonna camp out under that tree. No water or nothing like that's gonna hit you. This is the perfect spot for that. And thinking about that at that moment when Kumbo said that, I was like, 20, 30 kids, probably about 10, 15, 20 adults. And if you think about that even further, what, about 8, 9, 10 dog man can fit under this tree and never be seen?
Easily.
Or
They do say
in
they
the
travel
tree?
in packs, so
Oh, yeah. So when I thought about, and I told him about the encounter, but I never stopped at that tree at that moment. We said we're getting ready to head down that tree. I never said, this is the tree where it happened. He stopped in front of it before we went further into the woods. He said, this is a sentinel tree. So what I think happened after the fact was that night, it was about 8 something at night, November 2013. What I think happened in that moment was this. I think that I pulled up that curb next to their driveway that night and didn't put it in park. I put it in park, but I didn't cut the car off. I think what happened that night was that I caught that thing off guard. I think that it had just come out of that tree and was getting ready to head further into the woods. And at that moment, I didn't come up and turn down into the other houses like any other dog man would. I think I came up at that moment, and I think that I caught it off guard, and it had to pause. But I think that it probably had just come down out of that tree. Its back was to me, so it came down out of the tree and it's getting ready to head back there. But it had to pause and stop. I think that's what happened.
wow.
Well, is that
Now,
so? How many? So this happened in your parents' neighborhood, and just tell us what state this is in.
this is North Alabama.
Northern Alabama. Okay. Wow.
North Alabama, Limestone County.
Wow.
Kumbo is one to say that like this is a Limestone County or Alabama period is a hot spot. And I know the South period is a hot spots when it comes to Dogman and Bigfoot. I'll give y'all a few more encounters in a few minutes, just so I can tell y'all a few things about Dogman and cryptids when it comes down to it. And Shane, if you need to, we can do this in a 2-part show because it's not just that simple where you can just put it into a small
Yeah.
box and say, okay, this is just this one thing. It's multifaceted when it comes to it.
Mm.
So it is multifaceted. So after that first encounter, I told myself that night, it ain't just one back there. If you see one, there's more. That one has a mama. That one has a daddy. There's other ones. It's not just that one. There's other ones back there. And so after that first encounter, I started taking pictures and videos and stuff like that all the time because I remember listening to several different encounter shows and people talking about the fact that they were taking pictures and stuff and that they didn't expect to see anything there until after they went back and looked at the pictures. Well, what that boils down to is that a lot of times people don't realize that sometimes they're in the trees. I don't mean amongst the trees. Sometimes they are in the trees.
Yep. Absolutely.
And sometimes they are green, just like the background. Not that they're literally green, because I don't think that. I think that whatever their surrounding is, whether it's the tree trunk or the wheat colored grass, if it's in the fall, like that light tan or beige color, whatever their background is at that moment, they are able. Because I went on Kerry Arnold's show, Bigfoot Odyssey, and when I was on there with him, he had one that he one of his profile picture at that time was a picture of a Bigfoot that he actually had as he had taken a picture of, and he called that one the Hulk. That was his profile picture at that time, but it was green.
Wow.
It was green, and when I say the Hulk, it literally looked like the Incredible Hulk. And this is from Kerry Arnold.
Do you think it was cloaked bee, or was it? Do you think it was using a camouflage, or do you believe that they cloak is why they get that, that green background to them? Like you said, you think they bend light and can camouflage?
I think
or
that.
Cloak?
Okay, so here's on the scientific side of it. Melville Ketchum felt that part of that had to do with their fur, Bigfoot and Dogman fur. She said that it was hollow, and she said that their fur is not fur. She said it's more like hair, but she said with it being hollow, that is why that they are able to cloak or able to sometimes show up different type of ways. But with her saying that gives more credibility, or more, I don't know what you want to call it, more credibility for me for what my original thoughts were on that. I feel that when it comes to Bigfoot or Dogman. I've never seen Bigfoot, but they operate somewhat in the same ways. When it comes to Dogman, because that's all I've seen for about a 6 to 7 year time period, I feel that they are able to, just like you have. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say a couple of things. I'm gonna let y'all know it like this. When it comes to Dogman, from what I've seen, they are able to cloak in several different ways. Whether that is what you would look at when you look at an octopus or a chameleon or any other reptile or fish that is able to completely what do you call it, camouflage and look exactly like that sand or like that grass or like that whatever, like to mesh into their background to the point where you got to look really hard to see them. That is camouflage. That's one thing. That's camouflage. So you had to put it in categories. But then there's that other aspect of camouflaging, which is not regular camouflaging. Now you got another aspect, which I like to call it the predator effect. If y'all have ever seen the movie The Predator, it looks like well, you call it like some people call it the shimmer effect, or it looks like how you would think about a mirage. It has that water type effect. So it has that
moving
outline.
mirage.
I've seen that in real time, like with my natural eyes. I've also saw that on camera. That is just two aspects of what Bigfoot and Dog. I'm speaking about Bigfoot because I think that to me, they're Nephilim. I'm just gonna put that out there so I can move on past that, because I'm not talking about Bigfoot because I haven't seen Bigfoot. But Bigfoot and Dogman for me are Nephilim, so I'm gonna put them somewhat in the same box. So I'm just throwing it out there like that. But they're able to do those things. And I also know for a fact, based on what I have witnessed, I do know that they are also able to go completely invisible and not be seen at all. The reason I say that is because I have caught and captured audio, and I may need to go back to these neighbors' house now because these people who live in my parents' old house now, they know them. So I think it wouldn't be a problem for me to go back over there and chill with them in order to capture audio. And I wouldn't want to say, okay, I'm going out there to capture Dogman. I'm not going to say that, but but during the time period my parents lived there at that house, I captured audio. I would sit out there 20, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour or more. And sometimes I would not take the camera and record it, even though I'm seeing them with my real eyes in real time and on camera in real time. Sometimes I would just sit out there, smoke a cigarette, and sit my phone down on video record. But even though it was on video record, it was more for audio purposes. And I would sit it down on this, when I would go out there and smoke, it was on a toy chest. My parents had a huge toy chest out there outside of their front door, so they put random miscellaneous stuff on it. But it was a deep, heavy toy chest. Like, it's not going to sink in when you sit on it. I sit out there and smoke. So on more than one of these particular occasions, I would audio record, and I've actually caught the sounds of them. Like if like right now, like Shane or Todd, y'all are sitting there right now. If I come up behind you, like I'm getting ready to tell you a secret in your ear right now, I'm getting ready to whisper in your ear. I'm coming that close to the side of your head. But now imagine that I'm not me. Imagine I'm a dog man, and imagine right now I'm not a regular dog, so the sounds that you're getting ready to hear next to your head, it's not going to be the sound of a small or regular medium-sized dog sniffing, grunting, or growling next to your head. Take that and make that a werewolf or dogman or whatever you want to call it, literally behind your head, like it's whispering in your ear, that close, grunting, growling, and snorting right next to your head. I caught that on audio. I've also caught at the same time, which makes no sense whatsoever. Nobody's been able to explain this. And more than one occasion, and at one point, and I'm just going to say this, because I'm going to have to come back on here with you, Shane, because I've got so many different areas of when it comes to Bigfoot and Dogman. And I think that that's part of the reason. This is the 4th or 5th show right now. I'm talking to y'all about this in real time. This is the 4th or 5th show that I got shut down on. During Scott Carpenter's interview, I got shut down for like 20 minutes. They said I didn't have internet. I had internet. During another show, the one I did with Lance Hightower of Cryptid Brothers Investigations, and he was telling what to do.
I remember that.
You remember
I got
that?
kicked off 3 times because I was in the chat just listening, and I got booted 3 times. And I was like, man, what is up with this?
I'm being shadow banned because Facebook
Yeah.
also a week before last when I had Debbie Jones on the show, Facebook decided to put me in Facebook jail for 24 hours for sharing my YouTube channel with cryptic groups, and they called it spam. And even today,
Wow.
one of my admins sent me, your group has issues post showing me that, hey, like Facebook is giving you some shit again. So at the end of the day, like I'm being shadow banned, I'm being censored right now. During the show with Lance Hightower, Lance was talking about what to do when you think that you are being watched, or when you think that they are listening in, when you got certain information. He was telling what to do with your phone in order to not have your phone calls recorded. Scott Carpenter was talking about the DNA evidence and going greatly in depth with it when I was talking to him. When I got shut out of my own show for over 20 minutes, I had to call Scott's phone and have him put me on speaker in order to continue with that interview because it said I didn't have internet, but I did. Same thing happened tonight. I'm talking to y'all about this right now. It said I didn't have internet. It showed I had full internet access. StreamYard refused. StreamYard wouldn't let me back in there. So don't be surprised or shocked if my channel doesn't get shut down.
Mm.
Wow.
But what I'm going to say
I
is
noticed StreamYard.
Go ahead.
StreamYard has lots of issues. So, I mean, I think it could be a lag or a delay. I've heard several people say that about StreamYard. So if you use StreamYard, I've also heard it of Restream also that has the same issue.
But the problem is this. Like, for example, during the show with Lance Hightower, during that show, it started unsubscribing people. It started removing several comments during that show. It started blocking people from the channel. It started saying that certain admins and moderators were, let's just say right now, like me and you, all of us are talking right now. Todd is here right now. And Todd, let's just say Todd is one of your moderators. And now Todd's just sitting there. He's not doing anything. Todd is just sitting there. Now, but because Todd is connected to me, Todd removed Shane Michael Chris comment, and it'll show 20, 30 comments that Todd just removed. And then your group chat behind the scenes is having a whole full-on conversation like, what the hell is going on? I didn't remove that. I didn't block this person. I didn't do any of that. But then at the same time, they had also commandeered my computer to the point where I had no control over stopping anything that was happening. So so certain things, they don't want you talking about certain stuff. When it comes to Dogman and Bigfoot, there's so many different aspects to it. The whole aspects of the woo, the whole thing with the orbs and the lights in the sky, there's several different things when it comes to it. Footprints and stuff like that disappearing in the middle of the field. And it's like, okay, there's no tree for them to jump into. There's nothing else going on where this should be able to disappear. So did they go into another dimension? Did this just levitate and just disappear? Did it fly away? So it's several different aspects. So I know we're going to call this part 1 because we at like 10 o'clock right now. We're going to call this part 1. Shane, if you'll have me back. But
definitely. You let me know when you're available, and we'll get you scheduled that because I definitely am interested. And I know it's late on your side of the coast or the United States. So love to have you on for a part 2. You just let me know when you're available.
It's 10 o'clock here, and have Todd on again because I like Todd.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you.
have Todd. Are y'all about to shut it down now? Or you gonna keep going?
Yeah, well, I'm going to back out here in about 5 minutes. We've been for about an hour and a half, so it's about it's 8 o'clock here. So you've got 11 o'clock out in your neck of the woods there too. So
it's 10 o'clock here, so I'm getting ready to run out and go get me something.
10 o'clock.
Shane, don't forget to have Todd back again. I like Todd, and because I like his questions and stuff like that. But don't forget that where we left off is that of the aspect of what they're able to do, that whole disappearing act and stuff like that.
Yes.
I want to bring that up. Don't y'all forget that. Make a note on that, and I'm gonna make a note too, because when it comes to it, I've got several different things, and that's just one aspect of it when it comes to them. And I want to go into it with y'all with how I came to certain conclusions and some other things. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave y'all with this. The strangest thing that I ever seen Dogman do. I'm gonna bring up a couple of things real fast, and then I'm gonna let y'all go because I'm gonna go get something to eat. But one thing, Sentinel, no. One thing that I saw was one. If y'all can do y'all understand what the word manifest means? Coming into existence right now in real time, manifesting from nothing into realness right now. You just basically take a face and it's coming into full fruition in front of your eyes out of nowhere. So, and I swear to God, like y'all right now, like I'm upset with myself about this because I had several videos, videos of different shit that people talk about on these shows, different things manifesting or different. I had videos of that, and I know at one point my mom removed some videos because she said it was ridiculous what I was doing and like you just taking pictures. No, I had one of the greatest videos that ever show something in real time, and I don't know what color to call it other than say maybe translucent type color of what I would have to guess the size based on what I was seeing in real time on it. What I don't know how to call it. I would say based on the size of what I was looking at on that particular video, to me, that's one of those videos that deserved to be actually checked out. It wasn't no fraudulent video. It was something that I saw about the size of a baby. I don't know how to call it, the size of a baby animal. I don't know how, but it was crawling. But the color of it, it was like not luminescent, translucent or invisible, but it's crawling. It's crawling and then it stops. And then it crawls a few more feet and then it stops. My mom deleted that video off my phone.
Oh man!
I'm like,
$1 million photo.
She could have just got the phone and it was a great phone. At that point, I just got the Samsung phone. Mom was like, "Let me see your phone. Let me see how your camera looks." But I didn't know she was going through my phone because she thought it was stupid and ridiculous. I didn't know she was going through there deleting stuff, but she was actually deleting files and videos and pictures. And I'm like, oh my God, what did you do? Like, I have a video right now in real time that trumps everything that I have ever seen. Like paranormal shit, whatever you want to call it. Like, I got that in my phone right now. You just remove that, you would never touch my phone again in life. Ever. Not ever. Don't even think about my phone. Oh my God. And then I got pissed off myself last year before I got this new phone now, because you know how you go through your phone and you're like, I got too many screenshots. I got like thousands of pictures and videos. You going through and you're trying to delete stuff out of your phone? I'm going through deleting stuff out of there. And I wish in that moment, because I got a Samsung, but in that moment I was like, you know what? This is the time right now that I need an iPhone, because with an iPhone, even though you put stuff to throw it away, you got to delete the trash that's in the trash before it's actually gone. And I'm like, you got a Samsung. You can't get that shit back. You just deleted a video right now of a Dogman manifesting in real time. Like it almost, if y'all heard of this before, like the ones that look like a lion or a cat type face.
Yes.
So I've
seen several of those.
I don't know how I feel right now. I'm not even going to accept. I'm not going to say I'm not going to accept it, because Dogman and Bigfoot exist. Anything is possible, but I have not seen that. So I'm going to say the cat Dogman type thing. It manifested and came into full fruition in real time. I had a video of that.
Godfrey talks about that in her book. Was a cat-like Dogman. I don't know if you both have read that in her books, but I just came across that last night, and it looked more like cat-like in appearance, but it had the dog-like face. It was cat dog almost. It was weird.
Crazy.
So when it comes down to it, you have to be, I guess, somewhat open to. I ain't gonna say open, but I feel like that when it comes to certain people, once you see them, and some people say they imprint on you, and that's why certain people are able to see them on a regular basis. I don't know. Or some people might be empaths or sensitive to certain stuff. I feel like that based on what I have dealt with, whether it's sleep paralysis, shadow beings, cryptids, or anything else in between, like I feel like I'm sensitive to that stuff, and I feel like that they know that. I might be completely wrong about it. I don't know. But if you take into effect the people who've had sightings of Bigfoot or Dogman or any of that kind of stuff, one of the common denominators is that majority of people who've had those sightings have also seen UFOs.
Sure.
Yes.
They've also had sleep paralysis. They've also had haunted houses. That's not few and far between. Why is it that when you go out as a parent, I'm just generalizing right now. As a paranormal investigator, you go out there, you got your batteries fully charged, and you going out there to get EVPs and electronic voice phenomena and ghost voice and stuff like that. You got 3 or 4 batteries fully charged, your phone and everything. But when you get out there, that has completely died. And what you recorded on video, that didn't record at all. There's nothing there. Why is that? Why does that same exact stuff happen when it comes to Bigfoot and Dogman? Same thing.
Bettina, you got some.
They can manipulate the electromagnetic field.
Yeah, that's what they say. Bettina, super fun listening to your experiences and your. I'm just sitting here going, "Oh my God, that's just crazy." But super happy to have you on with Shane and myself. And Shane, Bettina was saying, let's do a part 2 of this and really get into some of these other things. It's I'm going to hop off of here, and I can hardly wait for the next segment that we do with you. It should be really exciting. We'll set it up and get that going. And man, good stuff.
And Shane, matter of fact, if you don't mind, like I know, and I'm going to jump off too because I got to get something to eat. But if you don't mind, Shane, create a group chat with me, you, and Todd, because I really want to talk to Todd again. I got more stuff for y'all. Y'all, we just scratching the surface right now. We ain't even got down to the nitty gritty. We're going to do part 2, and if need be, a part 3, because this is deep. I cut into it.
Super.
You cut into it. We jump down every single rabbit hole we can. So I'm all about this. I'm just a sponge soaking it up all the information.
Yeah,
so I'm all ears.
Too.
I love hearing this stuff.
Yeah, we love sharing it, and we want people to be aware of this phenomenon. We want people to understand what it is. That's why we do what we're doing, and having folks, like what you're doing and what you've experienced, and bringing it out there so people can digest it, hear it. They can think what they want of it, but it's really interesting stuff. And man, super happy to have had you on with us.
Yeah, I can't wait. Todd, we're going to talk tomorrow because this is exciting, and I've really got some questions for you right now. And Shane and Todd, Josh has got the second annual Dogman Cryptid Paranormal Conference coming up on, I think it's September 2nd and 3rd in Fort Worth, Texas. I will talk to y'all about that behind the scenes. Y'all definitely need to show up at that conference. You're out there in California, Shane, so I don't know how far Texas is from you, but I'm flying out there. But y'all need to come to this. I'm serious.
I'm trying to go. I'm trying to, with my work schedule the way it is. But are you going to be one of the guest speakers? I wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. Cool. I'm nervous too. I told Josh I'm nervous about it, but I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna go to Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell when I'm doing shows. I don't know why, but
well, Bettina, thank you so much for coming on. Real quick, where can everyone find you? The people that are new to West Coast and new to the cryptid community, where can they find you at?
I have my Facebook group, Crypto Normal Encounters with B Moss, Crypto Normal, CRYPTO. Normal, one word, Crypto Normal Encounters with B Moss, and the YouTube channel, same name, Crypto Normal Encounters with B Moss. Check it out. Y'all got any questions? Leave them out there. And I've also shared yours in my group, also, Shane, and on Instagram.
Thank you. Really
take care. Everyone,
go give Bettina a like, a subscribe, and a share. And thank you so much, B. I will get with you and Todd in a group chat, and we will get you on for a part 2 real soon.
All right, absolutely. Thank you. I'm so excited.
Right,
thank y'all.
Take care. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye. Well, everyone, thank you for jumping on. Real quick, I wanted to go with the last few comments. I wanted to say, Barb, thank you for jumping on. Lorna, appreciate you jumping on. Jeff, thank you so much. And Juliana, yep. Crypto Normal Encounters. Yeah. Thank you so much for everyone that's jumped on. I really do appreciate it. Next week, next Thursday at 6:30, we're going to have Christine Kelly. She's actually wrote a couple books and had Dogman Encounters like Todd had mentioned. when she was a young girl in West Virginia and recently in Arizona. So that's going to be a really good one. I'm hoping that, I'm all ears for that. So we'll catch you guys on that one. And then I believe the week after that, we have Jody Cook coming on. So I believe he's scheduled to come on. And then I believe we have Abe Cius right after that. So thanks again, everyone, for jumping on and watching the show. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again.
This is 10% luck, 20% skill, 15% concentrated